All right, let's get into it. Forget the pundits, forget your gut feelings. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to let an AI predict the outcome of a La Liga showdown, Alavés versus Elche. Let's see what the data has to say.
So in one corner, we've got Deportivo Alavés with that home field advantage, and in the other, Elche. But look, this isn't about team loyalty or who you're rooting for. This is a deep dive into pure, cold, hard data.
Okay, first up, the upcoming clash. Before we can jump into the prediction, we've got to set the stage, right?
Okay, so here are the basics. The match is going down August 30th at the Estadio de Mendizorroza. Simple enough, but to actually turn these raw facts into a real prediction, well, for that you need a very special kind of analyst.
So who is this analyst? What's the tool we're using for the job? We're not talking about just any old algorithm here. This is a purpose-built sports analysis machine.
So let's meet our expert for the day, SPECTRA AI. And that's short for Sports Prediction and Experimental Computational Trend Research Analysis. Yeah, it's a mouthful. Just think of it as our digital detective, programmed to sniff out hidden patterns in all the game data. So, where does a detective like this even begin its investigation?
Well, it starts by factoring in the conditions. The investigation kicks off by looking at every single real-world factor that could tip the scales in a match, from the weather right down to the players on the field.
And just look at the level of detail we're talking about. The AI knows it's going to be 62 degrees with heavy clouds and winds gusting up to 21 miles per hour. And you might think, who cares? But this isn't just small talk. That wind, it can totally mess with a long pass. The conditions, they can drain a player's stamina. Every little detail matters.
And of course, you got to talk about who's not playing. For Alavés, they're missing their key forward, Mariano Diaz, while Elche is without Iago Santiago. Now, to you and me, that's just a couple of names. But to the AI, it sees these as tactical holes, weaknesses that are going to blunt the attack for both sides.
All right, so the AI has soaked up all that external data. Now for the fun part. Let's peek inside its digital brain and see how it actually crunches the numbers to come up with a prediction. See, Spectra doesn't just analyze the match once. Oh no, it basically plays the game 10,000 times in a simulation. And each time, it tweaks the variables just a little bit based on all that data. It's on the hunt for the most common result, the strongest consensus from literally thousands of these virtual games.
So, the first big number it spits out is expected goals. And this isn't just about how many shots a team takes, it's about the quality of those scoring chances. The AI predicts Alavés will create way better chances, putting them at 1.47 expected goals. Compare that to Elche, who are way down at just 0.59. So on paper, you'd think Alavés has this in the bag, right?
But this is where things get really interesting. Even with better chances and playing at home, the AI does not think Alavés is going to win. In fact, it gives a whopping 59% probability to a draw. A win for Alavés? Only 29%. And an Elche victory is a real long shot at just 11%. So what's going on? Why is a draw so incredibly likely? Let's dig a little deeper. The AI even gives us the most likely final scores. A 1-1 draw is the number one prediction, followed by a 0-0 snooze fest. Even the most likely win scenario is a super tight 1-0 for Alavés. Are you seeing the pattern here? Every single sign is pointing to a close, low-scoring game.
Okay, let's bring it all home. We've seen the weather, the injuries, and the data from 10,000 simulated games. Now it's time to put all the pieces together for the final verdict.
So, after all that incredibly complex analysis, what's the one outcome that's most likely to happen when that final whistle blows?
The AI's strongest consensus is a low-scoring draw. Yeah, even though Alavés looks stronger on paper, when you combine all the factors, everything points to these two teams just canceling each other out. A 1-1 stalemate is the most probable result.
And this quote from the AI's own analysis just sums it all up perfectly. It says the heavy cloud cover and slightly blunted attack on both sides could keep scoring muted. It's like the perfect storm for a defensive gridlock. Which kind of leaves us with one last big question, doesn't it? We have all this data, a really logical prediction. But football, it's also about human moments, right? Passion, a bit of luck, a flash of unexpected genius. So you have to wonder, in a game that's all about those human moments, how much can data truly predict? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.